What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, it's basically the last day of Ultra League until the very end of the season, so I wanted to get a couple more sets in, and I wanted to try some more pairings or potential pairings with Iape. Iape, extremely strong in this meta. I don't need to repeat it any more than that, but I thought maybe giving Magnezone a try could be an option here in the Ultra League. Iape being very weak to some flyers, maybe to some fairies. There's also ghosts, you know, but Iape can answer back to that with Shadow Ball. So I wanted to give Magnezone a try. That's a pretty good core right there. And obviously my Tapu Fini is my holy grail for the Ultra League, so I'm going to be bringing that. So, hope you guys enjoy. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Iape on the lead versus Verizion. Very good lead for us here in Game 1. Obviously, Verizion does very well against our backline, so I am more than happy to stay in right here. What I'm going to be looking to do is try to apply some shield pressure and look to go for Night Slashes as a shield bait. But they go for Stone Edge, and that's a really interesting call by them because it makes me think they have Stone Edge and Sacred Sword instead of Leaf Blade, which could pay off later on, right? Otherwise, they would have gone for Leaf Blade as it is neutral. But matchup here against Shadow Charizard now in the mid game. Tapu Fini can really handle this, and what I want to do is safely one-shield this mid-game matchup and commit to the farm down here with Water Gun, because I should be able to get to a Moonblast on the backside, and also this Verizion is gonna have to throw energy in order to take me out, otherwise I will get to 2. But good morning, boom, see ya! They decided to call the bait, and it was not. It's rare that I bait. So we have a Skeledirge here in the back. Obviously, Tapu Fini with Surf is going to be putting in a lot of work, but I'm going to go ahead and swap out into Iape right away because I didn't want to get farmed down on the Tapu Fini. And Iape here has Night Slash. We get the boost as well! And they surrender. Good game. Alright. Moving to the next one, Iape versus Shadow Dragonite. Alright, so last game, good lead with Verizion. This game, bad lead. We're going into Tapu Fini now, and we do draw out a Registeel. Now, this is what I was mentioning earlier about the potential core there of Iape with Magnezone. It has that resistance, that steel-type resistance to help out against Dragon Breath, Wing Attack, whatever kind of flyers out there are in this meta. And, well, it doesn't help against Incinerate. I know you guys are thinking about that with Talonflame. But Tapu Fini here as well. Really nice against the Registeel. Zap Cannon hurts, but Registeel cannot farm down at least my Tapu Fini. It just got a beautiful trade. That's all that happened. Just a lucky trade. I didn't go lucky, but you guys see the IVs over there from Captain Charizard, so shout out to him. And we forced the shield here, so they weren't able to farm me down in time. That's huge. Now, this is a big call. I'm going to do one pause. You guys mentioned before you guys don't like a lot of pauses, so I'm just going to do this one. This is an interesting situation. I think the Registeel is going to be throwing Zap Cannon, blind throwing. So I'm going to come in with Magnezone, predicting that, and we'll see what happens here. They blind through right away. So, we're going to go ahead and no shield. We're calling the Zap Cannon. If it's Focus Blast, so be it. But it is going to be Zap Cannon. So, we see them actually swap out now into the Dragonite. This is very, very good for us because I don't know what Pokemon number 3 is. But if they have to come in with Dragonite in order to potentially win this game, that's obviously a huge W. So, we're going to go ahead and build up to the back-to-back wild charges here. If we get a shield, so be it. We'll throw another one. And they actually, boom, down goes Dragonite. Final Pokemon we get to see is going to be Tapu Fini. So that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Wild Charge right away and then swap out. Obviously, Iape needs to come into this game. Magnezone does not want to get farmed down with Water Gun, especially after double Wild Charge debuff. So we're just going to go for Shadow Ball as quickly as possible because their switch clock is coming back up. I will decide to shield here. It is just going to be Surf. And we're going to go ahead and throw that right away. Knowing their switch clock is basically probably up right now, we're going to go ahead and just be cognizant of that as they're going to look to throw the chart. I'm going to look to throw the Night Slash, so they didn't swap to catch it. Unfortunately for them, but thankfully for us, the Night Slash is barely not going to be enough. They do get to the charge move though, so hopefully it is just another Surf. Wasn't enough time for Moonblast, I don't think. Yeah, it is just a Surf. and that is going to be a good game as Registeel now would go down. So, good battle. All right. Moving in the next one, Iape versus Jellicent. Another really tough lead. Magnezone, right? Good answer there with the Volt Switch Wild Charge. So far this core is looking pretty decent. But what I'm hoping to do is get shields with Night Slash and try to land a Shadow Ball. So I will shield right here. That was 5 hexes, but it is just going to be a surf. So unfortunately I got shield baited. We're going to go ahead and go for our Night Slash here. Again, trying to get a shield. But what you guys will see is they decided no shield, but we got the boost. So now this is a free territory for me to go straight Night Slash. It is doing super effective damage anyways, and with the boost, it's obviously going to do a lot of damage. So now we're going to go ahead and go shields invested here into Iape. Try to see if we can get as much damage off as possible, especially before they get to another charge move. They get a hex through right there, which is unfortunate. But now we're going to be forced to catch a charge move here on Tapu Fini. So I'm going to go ahead and swap, and they will throw. Now this means all the energy is gone on Tapu Fini. It's likely going to be a Shadow Ball. And Tapu Fini no longer, all the energy on Jellicent no longer going to be a threat. Now they come in with Skeletors, which is obviously critical for me in this game because I do have Magnezone hidden in the back. And Tapu Fini can put a lot of pressure down with Surf. Now in order for them to take out Tapu Fini, this has to be a Shadow Ball. But I feel like my opponent might not throw it, and they didn't. They threw Disarming Voice, and Disarming Voice is not enough to KO, which means I do get the Surf off, and this is huge. This is a pivotal moment in this game because now we almost KO. We get the fast move down right there, and the final Pokemon is going to be Steelix. So I think I got a bit greedy. I should have just, this is going to be tough, okay? Steelix, yes, we do have Annihilate, but remember, this is Ultra League Steelix, and it does have access to Earthquake, and they decide to throw a bit early, and I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be Breaking Swipe. It's not, or it is Breaking Swipe. Sorry, on this one. They do swap out into Jellicent, so I'm going to go ahead and come in with Magnezone. I could have maybe gotten, oh, man. Oh, no, I could have, looking back at that, I could have gotten the extra counter in and gotten the Shadow Ball. Oh, man, okay. So we're going to go ahead and go for Mirror Shots. My terrible job of keeping the end of this match hidden for forecasting. Mirror Shots here. I'm hoping for a debuff because obviously at this range, if I get the Shadow Ball, it's going to be a KO. But what I need to be able to do is survive a Breaking Swipe. So we're going to go ahead. This is going to be Earthquake, right? Boom, down we go. And now you guys are going to see Annihilate. Here comes the charge move. And this is why I'm kicking myself. Look at that. I survive. One fast move away. I could have farmed it. Oh, man. Good game. Could have farmed down the Jellicent there and gotten the Shadow Ball off for free. All right. We got Nidoqueen now on the lead. Obviously, we want to threaten with an Ice Punch. So we're going to build up to 6 counters and then throw. This is obviously going to be just a Night Slash, but we want to put the Fear in there, and they don't. They actually don't bite. So that is unfortunate for me, but with Nidoqueen lead, it has been common throughout the years that it's double dark in the back. I'm not going to assume that it is, but I know that if it is in fact double dark in the back, Tapu Fini is going to have a good time, right? So we're just going to go ahead and use our Annihilate to get this thing down as low as possible. We're going to go for another Night Slash here, and unfortunately, these Night Slashes are just not enough to KO. So they will decide to no-shield everything. I could have just gotten a Shadow Ball for free, and we would have been sitting good. Boom, down goes Annihilate. So I'm going to come in with Magnezone. I should be able to get 2 fast moves in right here of energy. And here comes Dark number 1. It is going to be Obstagoon. So this is what's cool about Magnezone is even though this is a bad matchup, Wild Charge still hits like a truck. 50% HP right there. We swap into Tapu Fini. And now if it is double dark in the back, they are in a very tough position because obviously Tapu Fini does extremely well against dark type Pokemon. They go for the Obstruct and they swap in an Umbreon. So it was double dark in the back. And now we're just going to go straight Moonblast. I could go straight Surfs, kind of looking back at this, but I figure, you know what, it's up to me. This is my game to win, and my lose cons are if they decide to no shield a Surf and then shield a Moonblast. So I'm just like, you know what, how about I just go triple Moonblast and just call it a day. you know, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to have to shield last resorts. Umbreon actually does quite a bit of damage with it as it is neutral. And now I'm noticing my switch clock is coming back up. Remember that Obstagoon swapped in a bit late. Or the Umbreon swapped in a bit late. So what I'm going to do is swap into Magnezone now that I got the second shield. And I'm just going to load up on energy. And here comes the Obstagoon, so we're going to go ahead and throw the Wild Charge to KO. And now Umbreon's kind of put in a tough position. They have to throw energy in order to get rid of us. And thankfully, because of our debuff, this should be enough to KO. So we're not going to shield here. We're going to save our shield for Tapu Fini, and we're just going to go straight Moonblast. They have to get 2 last resorts off, or a Dark Pulse and a last resort. So I'm just going to go ahead and shield here. It could be Dark Pulse, so be it. But I don't think they get to the next last resort in time, so we will be able to get to Moonblast, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. Obviously, Tapu Fini against Double Dark Backline is going to do very well. Boom, down it goes. All right, moving into the next battle, we have Iape on the lead versus Steelix. Okay, good matchup. Got Tapu Fini as well, so not too concerned there. They do swap in Mandibuzz, so we're going to go ahead and bring in our Magnezone. And Magnezone in this matchup, obviously, it dominates it. But the tough thing about Magnezone with this matchup is you still take a lot of damage from the foul plays there. And you don't have to go for Wild Charge. I could just go Mirror Shot. But what I'm going to do is, because I know the Steelix has a really bad matchup against Iape and Tapu Fini, I'm going to look to go for just double Wild Charges here, because one of two things is going to happen. Either I maintain Switch and get the 2-to-1 shield, or I lose Switch and get the 2-to-0 shield, which in all honesty, we'll take the 2-to-0 with the Tapu Fini, right? So we're going to go ahead and no shield the Aerial Ace here. Doesn't do that much damage. So we're happy to, they decide to swap out into Jellicent. So I'm going to go ahead and stay in and look to go for Moonblast. I know basically my win con now is going to be with Iape and Tapu Fini. So Tapu Fini can survive 1 Shadow Ball. Not too worried about it. There's not a lot of fast move damage left in this game, so we're going to let that go. We're going to come in with the Iape, and now we're in a very good position where I'm just going to go ahead and go straight Shadow Ball right here. If Mandibuzz comes in, we just shield the Aerial Aces, right? And if Steelix comes in, well, we dominate it. So we're going to go ahead and just look to do as much counter damage as possible. Obviously, Aerial Ace is going to do super effective. We're going to let the first one go. I want to see how much damage it does. Not that much, so this is good. You guys can see there's no fast move pressure right now. Steelix coming in. Now I decided to go for Night Slash here. Why? Because I'm trying to fish for the boost. I want to get a boosted Shadow Ball, okay? I've been denied so far in my sets getting a boosted Shadow Ball, so we're going to go ahead and just go Shadow Ball now. Win con here, Tapu Fini and Shields. So we're just going to go ahead and just play to that. Our Tapu Fini is in a perfect position now where it can farm down with Water Gun and go for Moonblast. This was the one with Psychic Fangs. Go for a Moonblast there against the Mandibuzz. So a really long game here. Not gonna lie, Ultra League just hits different. But thankfully we do have shields remaining. We can farm down. And then the Mandibuzz does not have 2 Aerial Aces in order to win this game. So we can safely get to this Moonblast, shield this charge move, and our charge attack, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. So Tapu Fini, I mean, it's my pride enjoying the Ultra League. It would be too if you guys had the PvP IVs that I got over there. I love this Pokemon. So good. Alright, moving to the next battle. Tentacruel. This is a tough one. Tentacruel, we're both doing resisted damage, but the thing is, it's just so bulky to try to get through. Now, we're just going to go straight Shadow Ball here. I'm not even going to mess around. I messed around before trying to do these baits against Nidoqueen, and I'm like, no longer. I'm just going to land Shadow Balls here. So we're going to go ahead and let the Scald go through. Scald doesn't do that much damage. The bad thing is if we get the attack debuff. Now, the question is, can we counter down? I'm going to go for Night Slash early here, try to see if we can fish out a shield from them, which we do. See what I did there with the fish out? Anyways, we're going to go ahead and no shield now. I'm thinking Magnezone coming in could be very positive for us. getting a healthy farm down with Volt Switch. They do swap out into Greedent, which is interesting because they have to throw Crunch in order to do a lot of damage to us. So I'm gonna let the first one go through. It is gonna be the Crunch. I was wondering if they had Trailblaze and Body Slam, but we'll go ahead and go for Wild Charge now. And then I need to get Tapu Fini in here. That Tentacruel is low enough where a Surf should just be able to KO. Now I swap into Tapu Fini and they decide to throw. And I thought, you know what? That was a bit quick. It is going to be Crunch. So a missed throw by them if they will have Body Slam. Most likely. You wouldn't have a Greedent with just Crunch, I think, in the Ultra League here. So yeah, they are going to throw Body Slams. And now Tapu Fini, we're going to have to commit to the aggressive farm down. We're going to save shields. We don't know what's in the back. But right now a Body Slam I feel like isn't worth the shield. As Tapu Fini, I could be completely wrong, right? But now we get to see what's going to come in. And this is where things get a bit interesting. Is we will see the Tentacruel come in. So I'm going to go ahead and go for Surf now. And because the Tentacruel swapped in, I'm going to make a play to swap into the Magnezone. And they knew I was going to make that play as well. I could have gotten away with the free Moonblast there, everyone. I could have gotten away with the free Moonblast. Well played to my opponent. If you guys think about that scenario, they know I'm going to swap in after the charge move, so they counter-swapped with having no shields. I could have easily, look at this health. I could have gotten, because Dragon Tail's resisted, I could have gotten a free Moonblast off right there. It's completely game over. But instead, I'm going to be haunted by this pumpkin freaking shiny. Now I go for the Surf here, hoping that, because I need a Surf for Tentacruel in the back. Sorry, and the Surf's just not enough damage. Yeah, he's laughing at me now. Good game to my opponent. Great call by them to do the counter swap. And here's the Tentacruel that comes in. So that's why I was hoping to have another Surf ready to go, because this should be able to KO, but it doesn't, which means the Poison Jab damage went through. And now I go down to one fast move. That is going to be a good game. Very well played. Throw on my end. All right. Moving to the next one, we have Cresselia here on the lead. So Cresselia, a Pokemon that you can handle if you have energy, right? Shadow Ball does a lot of damage. So we're going to go ahead and go for a Night Slash instead. Fish for the boost, see if we can get a shield. We do get a shield, no boost though, so I'm going to swap into Magnezone now to catch the charge move, because I know this is going to be resisted. This could backfire on me, but I thought catching the energy might be worth it. Now they bring in Regirock, which I thought was pretty interesting because we have Mirror Shot. Now Mirror Shot isn't a hard-hitting charge move, but it does hurt. It does add up, and Volt Switch is not resisted, so we are in a position here where I'm safe to shield the potential Focus Blast and then look to go for Wild Charge in order to maintain Switch. Obviously, I don't need to maintain Switch because I want more energy, but we'll take the Switch advantage if we can get it. So I'm not going to shield here. I think this is just another Stone Edge that was a bit quick, and we do survive the charge move, which is great, and we have a Wild Charge ready to go for whatever comes in. And we're just going to go ahead and basically blind throw that. We almost have one. We get to one right here. So the Cresselia coming in, this is massive damage. This is massive, massive damage that I get to land for free. I'm going to go ahead and counter swap back into Annihilape. And I make the counter swap, and I don't know if that was the best play. I thought I had more energy on my Annihilape, so I thought I had a charge move ready. That's what I was hoping to do. So we're going to go ahead and go for Night Slash. We get a shield, no boost, but we get another Night Slash off. And this is all going to come down to what is Pokemon number 3 in the back, obviously, because Annihilape is just a sitting duck right here, right? Or a sitting ape. He's just going to get caught out with the Future Sight. Boom! Down we go. So now we come in with Tapu Fini, and it's actually Poliwrath in the back. So that's going to be a good game. Tapu Fini is going to take it right here. Obviously got lucky with how the back line ended up being, but ultimately it's going to be a good game. Curious why, I mean, I guess either way, I swap, by the way, they threw Icy Wind there. I swap into Magnezone to clear the debuff so that my Moonblast now hits harder. Boom. That was a deliberate play. I wasn't trying to catch a charge move. I was just wanting to clear the debuff that Icy Wind provided to me, because when your Pokemon leaves the battlefield, if it has a buff or a debuff in any way from your opponent or yourself, it will be removed. So we can get to the Surf now in time, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. All right. Moving into the last battle here, we have a very dangerous one. Nyap versus Shadow Gyarados. Yeah. Shadow Gyarados, obviously, we want to try to get Switch here, so we're going to go into Tapu Fini. And then we see that they draw out a Weezing. So this is a Pokemon where we could take Switch against. Obviously, it's going to come down to the moveset that they have. Typically, in the Ultra League, we're going to be seeing Play Rough and Brutal Swing. Sometimes Overheat. Sludge is not really seen, but it is a potential threat. So I'm going to Shield, and it is just going to be Play Rough. So now I know it's going to be like Play Rough and Brutal Swing. So what we're going to look to do is we're taking Hard Switch here. Obviously, we want Magnezone against the Shadow Gyarados. That would be very good for us. And another thing to notice is look at the typings on my opponent's team so far. A Flyer and a Fairy Poison. So odds are these are their two options to fighters, and their third Pokemon is weak. It might not be, but if you're playing the team building game, odds are it is going to be. Look at my team formation, a Ghost and a Fairy paired with a Steel, right? So we do take Switch, and sure enough, there's a Greedent in the back. So it is weak to fighting type Pokemon. Makes a lot of sense, but we were able to maintain Switch advantage, which was critical. This is exactly what I was going for. I don't care how much damage this Greedent is going to do to my Tapu Fini. I honestly don't care if it lands a crunch against a Nyap. What I care about is just having Switch advantage, because I know if they swap into Gyarados, which they do here, it's over. It is all over. Look at these Volt Switches. It is just, it's massacre, okay? Gyarados does not like the Volt Switch damage. Aqua Tail still does a lot, but we are just going to fast move down, and they decide to surrender. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. So, overall, looking at the summary, I think Magnezone has some play in this meta. Obviously, Skeledirge is going to be a tough Pokemon to handle, but with a combination of Annihilap's charge moves and Tapu Fini, you could handle that. Giratina Altered could also be a bit troublesome, but again, same thing. Annihilap's moveset and Tapu Fini. But overall, had fun, positive sets, interesting combination there, and the Magnezone actually put in some work in some key positions that I needed it to do so, whether that was giving me shields or getting me just booming teams. So had a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy. And like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.